We will now use Jupyter as an application in lieu of Spider, and let's try to understand how do we access Jupyter to write the Python codes. You simply need to go to Anaconda and click on this button, Launch, which is next to the Jupyter icon. Once you click on this, a Jupyter application opens up in a web browser. So whatever is your default web browser, if that is Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer, so it would open up in that particular Explorer. And this is how it is going to look like. Now you can see all those folders here. So these are the folders which are available in my local system. I can see all those folders in the web-based application. In case you want to open up a new program for Python, click on New and click on Python 3. So once you click on this icon, it will open up a new window where you can write the Python program. Now the look and feel of this particular web-based application is different from Spider. However, functionally, it's going to work in a similar way. So this is the place, this is a block, this is called a block where your cursor is blinking, and this is the place where you would write the Python command. So unlike Spider, you do not have any separate windows. For console, you don't have any separate window to write the codes. So you just have one place where you write the codes and you would see the output just below that. So let's try to see it. So for example, if I create an object A with a value of 50, I write A is equal to 50. In case I want to run this command, there are certain buttons which are there on the top. We'll talk about these buttons in a while. But in case you want to run this particular command, click on this run button. Once you click on the run button, you can see this code runs successfully. It does not give you any error and you don't get any output either. So what you see is a new line is generated where it is prompting you to write the code. Now in case you want to call, just remember the same example that we gave you in Spider. In case you want to call this particular object value, just write A and click on this run button. So what you get in the output is 50. So the value of 50, the value 50 is what is assigned to A. So in the Jupyter based application, you don't have a separate window for console. You get the input and the output command in the same window. So you can see here it is input. So you get the input in the same window and you get output in the same window. This is how the Jupyter based application works. Now we will be talking more about this Jupyter based application, and we'll talk about certain options, certain toolbars which are available on top of this. Now in case you want to add up certain lines, so in case you want to write more and more codes, so you can just click on this plus button. So this plus button would keep on adding lines wherein you can write more codes. And in case you want to remove certain lines, so there's a cut button here, just click on this one, and in case you want to cut this line number 2, just click on this cut button and it would remove the line number 2. Also, just like the way we have line numbers generated for each line of code in Spider, we have similar lines generated in the Jupyter based application as well. So in case I run this particular command, you can see the line number which is generated is 3, because we have already generated a line number 2 earlier which we deleted. So this is a line number 1. So in case I add up one more code to it, B is 90, so it would generate a line number which is 4. So it would, as you run the commands, it would keep on generating the line numbers one after another. However, in case I go ahead and go back to the previous command, so right now the maximum line number is 4. In case I go back to the previous command and run the line number 3 again, by clicking on this run button, you can see it updates the line number to 5. So the line number that you run most recently gets generated the most recent number. So these line numbers may not be in sequence. It would depend upon the sequence in which you run the lines. It would not exactly be in sequence of 1, 2, 3 from top to bottom. It would actually be in a sequence of how you run these commands. Now there are certain other toolbars available. So in case you want to move this line number 4 above this line 5, so you can use this up arrow and down arrow. So this, my cursor is right now blinking on the line number 4. So if I click on this up arrow, this line number 4 would come up. Similarly, if I want this particular line number 1 to go down, I can use this down arrow. There is a stop button here. So kernel means, kernel is a program which assigns the memory to the Python. So in case there's a program which is running for a very long time, and in case you want to manually interrupt that program, you want to stop that program, you can use this stop button. We will understand this stop button once we will be doing the while loop. So once we will cover the concept of loops, we will discuss about the applicability of this stop button. There are certain other options which are available in case you want to run the entire workbook. So this particular icon is used for restarting the kernel, which means restarting this particular Python program and running the entire notebook. So notebook is the list of codes that we have written in this particular file. This is one notebook. There is a save button here, which is used to save the program. So in case you want to save the program, click on this save button. There are certain other options that you can explore, which are quite simple and easy. So file option, edit option, view option, and so on. So let's talk about how do we save this Python program. So in case you want to save this Python program, go to File and go to click on Save As. So once you click on Save As, you can give the program name of your choice. So I'll give the program name of Python Basics, and the extension would be .ipynb. So this is the difference. So as we have seen in the spider, the file was created by the name of temp.py. So .py was the extension for Python files. However, when you are saving the Python files in the notebook, the extension is .ipynb. So instead of just py, it's .ipynb. So I'll click on save. So once I click on save, you can see this particular file is saved and it has a name of Python Basics. And if I want to figure out that where this particular file is saved, I can go to my previous window from where we have opened up the Python command, and you can see towards the bottom, towards the home directory. So this is the home directory. We'll discuss about home directory in detail, but for now you can understand that this Python Basics code is being saved here. So in case I want to open up this code tomorrow from this particular file, I can just navigate to the Jupyter based web application, and I can just close it, and I'll show you how to open it. Go to this Jupyter based web application, scroll towards your file which you want to open, right click on this and click on open in new tab. So it is the same file that we have saved earlier. Now the good thing about the Jupyter based application is if you save the file, it actually saves the output along with that. So whatever the codes that you have ran, you see those codes, and along with that you see the output next to that as well, because the outputs were also saved as a part of the file name. So when we save .ipynb, it saves the output along with the input, but that is not the case with .py file. Now this is the .py file that we have created earlier. I can also save this py file by clicking on File and click on Save As. I can click on temp.py. So py is the extension. So I'm saving it on my particular desktop, and I click on Save. Now this file is saved in my local system, and I can go to my desktop. I can go to my desktop and navigate this particular file, which is by the name of temp.py. This is where my file is, and it looks like a notepad window. It is there in the notepad window. If I open it up, it is simply showing me the codes without any output, as we have seen in Jupyter Notebook. So in Jupyter Notebook, you get a nice output with input and output, but here you are just getting a notepad window which is of an extension .py. If you just right click on this particular window for the temp.py file, and you would see that the output is of py extension. So you can open up the py extensions in the notepad. You can also open up the py extensions in the spider as well. So I'll show you a scenario wherein we can open up in the spider. We can simply close this temp.py file, and we can go to File, Open, and navigate back to this particular file which is on a desktop, and here we can retrieve. Now the point is we don't see the output. What we see as a temp.py file is it's more of a code file where you just have codes, where you just have input codes and you don't have any output. Now coming back to Jupyter. In Jupyter, you see the input and output, so it's very easy to communicate the results to a particular programmer. So for example, one programming team is communicating with another team to convey the results. So it's very easy to communicate the results with the Jupyter web-based application because it has input and output, and it has nice output windows as well. Showing the output results would make more sense in this particular scenario that you can see on the screen. We have made a chart, and in case we want to see the chart as a part of output, we can share that easily and share the insights with the business users.